if you wrestle for Union County, you've got a target on your back. Everybody wants to put you on your back. Everybody wants to say they beat a Union County Brave. But if you're our guest here today and you wrestled in 2013, it didn't happen. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
I'm Trae Blackwell. Again, I wrestled for Union County, obviously, and then the University of Oklahoma. So, or Oklahoma University, however you want to say it.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got to make sure it's OU, baby. You got to get it right. Got to get that in
yes,
their just due here. So like we said earlier, or like you said, 2-time state champion, 2012. That video's on the channel. You're coming in as a junior. You're coming in to the 2013 season as a junior, and you are in high school when your social media is blowing up. You know, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your Twitters, YouTubes, all that. I don't think TikTok was around then. I could be mistaken, but I don't think it was.
I don't think so. Snapchat was, but
what am I thinking? Snapchat. Yep. That was
Snapchat was a big thing.
That's where it was. Everybody had Snapchat. And so the reason I bring that up is when you, especially Union County, everybody sees those colors walk in, but you know, on that team you would have you, Jace Carr, Brock Irvin. I'm sure I'm leaving out some other people, but just a team full of absolute. Oh yeah, Bryce was on that team. What am I thinking? Bryce, rest in peace to Bryce.
Saul
Irvin was on that team. I mean, just top to bottom studs. So when you walk in, being that, like I said, wearing that Union County colors, wearing that Union County singlet and that traditional looking or that iconic looking warm up you guys have, you've already got a target on your head, target on your back. But people find, they point you out because they, information so easily accessible. Oh my God, that's Trae Blackwell. That's Jace Carr. That's Brock Irvin. That's just. Did people give you the wrestlers that you had to face this season, knowing you're a returning state champion? Did they give you like 135,000% of their best effort, you think? Or was it like, I'm intimidated by this guy, the best move I'm going to have is a handshake?
No, I think people, obviously, those top tier guys or whatever, there's some people that maybe lay down a little bit. Most of the time, people are going to wrestle you as hard as they can.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's out of fear or just trying to beat you. The way I look at it, honestly, it's easier being, I guess when I was growing up, when I was the guy who wasn't supposed to win, it was a lot easier to wrestle than it was to be the guy who was supposed to win. Because I could wrestle a lot harder because I was like, man, if I get out there and get whipped, then I was supposed to get whipped. And then, so I feel like that's how a lot of people come to wrestle you, is if they're going to throw everything they got at you, because if they lose, what's it matter,
And so, you know how it is, how men are is, we get older, we move on with our lives, we do whatever, and a sport gets brought up, or you, somebody, at work or whatever the situation is. And hey man, did you play any sports in school? Yeah, I was on the wrestling team. I never made it to state, but man, I beat a state champion one time, or I took him down and, held him on his back. The ref called, illegal hold or whatever, but a little bit longer, I could have beat him. I know it. That's just the way we are. That's the way guys talk. That's the way it is. Every high school football player that, a receiver, running back, I should have caught the state championship winning pass, but it went through it was raining. I had my gloves. You know how it is. So I like asking guys that question because it's such a good answer of, everybody wants to beat the champ, man. Everybody wants to say they put the champ on their back. So coming into the state tournament, I think this was the first year that Kentucky used track. It has you 35-3. Is that correct? Or overall,
yes, sir.
35-3.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I think I took a loss. I got beat in Tennessee. I was beating this kid. He was actually a state champ. I was beating him pretty well. I took a sloppy shot, got thrown in my back and pinned. And then I took 2 losses at the Welsh Ironman that year as well.
I got you.
So
it
was at Welsh Ironman. So,
and of course, this year you're 120 pounds, and I mean, 7 pounds to the average person may not seem like a lot, but when it comes down to weight classes, 7 pounds going from 113 to 120, that's a big jump. It really is. That's a big jump. The your 120s, usually about the 120, 126, that's when you can really start seeing like some absolute brutes come out on the mat.
Yeah.
And no offense to our 106s and 113s, but you can just tell, very rarely do you see, unless a team is young. Now, if it's a team like your Unions, your Riles, your Johnsons, your Woodford, St. Xavier's, teams like that, very rarely are you going to see a 8th grader, 7th grader, or freshman in the lineup, the varsity lineup at 120 pounds or above. Now, it's going to be sophomores, juniors, seniors. The bodies are just so much different when you get up to that weight class and that age especially. But 2013, you start off your day, or this tournament, I should say, with a fall over Travis Roberts from Fern Creek, 59 seconds. Now, last state tournament, you had 3 matches right out of the gate, 3 tech falls. This year, you start off with a fall, so pretty good. Now, I was going to ask you about this one because you wrestled the same guy last year. You have to get an overtime win against Gus Adams from Rowell, a 6-4 match, and it doesn't have what you guys went into, but I'd have to imagine it was the first takedown, right?
Yes, sir. Yep. So I took him down in that first overtime.
I got you.
So that was a nail biter.
Yeah. So. And last year in 2012, or the last season, I should say, in the semis, excuse me, you win an 18-6 major decision over him, and he takes you to overtime. So you got like, whoo, had to pull one out there, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah. I think it was a combination of he was a senior, and like you said, you kind of got your target on your back there, and guys are going to wrestle really hard. If they don't win, then unfortunately, that's their last shot. So he was a senior, wrestled really tough, and then I didn't really cut my weight quite as well, but it was a combination of those two types of things. But definitely, about lost it there. That could have been a bad. We wouldn't be doing this video, right?
Yeah, for real. Yep, for real. So, but you get the win though, 6-4, and Gus goes on to get 4th place this year. You get to the quarters. You're wrestling Max Korfage. If I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry, Max, but I just don't know how to pronounce it. Korfhage, Korfhage from St. Xavier. You win that by a major decision, 17-4, and Max goes on to get 8th place. You get to the semis. You're wrestling Bobby Pointer from Louisville Moore. You win that by a fall, 3 minutes, 29 seconds, and Bobby goes on to get 5th place. You get to the the finals again. I'm sorry, you're back in the state championship match, and you're wrestling another Christian County guy, Caleb Austin. Now, we're not going to tell you the score. We have the match video. So, did you wrestle Caleb in the regional finals like you done JJ last year?
Yep. Yes, sir. I actually wrestled him. I wrestled in the regional finals. I think I wrestled him at regional duels. I wrestled him. We had a home duel against him that year. I about got beat by him there. A really close match. There at regionals, I wrestled a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 or 4 times before we had wrestled in the finals. At least 3. Yeah. Regionals, the duel, and then regional duels. So at least 3 times before.
Okay. Well, and like we asked you with JJ's video, did you kind of have the idea, okay, I'm wrestling him again in the state championship match when you saw the bracket?
Yeah, a little bit. Again, just like I said, just kind of, there's those 3 or 4 guys that you're always looking at, potentially you could match up with, had a pretty good idea. I think he was ranked number 2 in the state. I think he had got 3rd or 4th the year before at a different weight. So he was pretty respectable. Like I said, just one of those guys you're probably going to see if everything played out, I guess.
No, I get it. And that's, that's one of the the benefits of track wrestling is you can see, you know, how somebody done against a lot competition, how they won, all this kind of stuff. So you really can't keep somebody secret anymore. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you know, say that my kid's 75-0 with 75 pins, and they get out there in the first round of the regional tournament and get stuck. Like, Coach, I thought you said your kid was 75-0. Well, you know, we lost our records or whatever. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Come on. Y'all, especially you guys in the 80s and the 90s, knowing how seed meetings went. So you're back in the finals as a junior, your second time in the finals. Knowing that you've been there before, kind of walk us through the mindset of, okay, I'm back here. Had you added, added's not the right word. Let me go back and say that again. What about your wrestling game had improved from 2012, 2013?
I think my offensive attacks got a little bit better. I got a little bit better on bottom. Like I said, that's something I watched TJ Rochelle's video the other day talking about bottom. I was just I'm not very good at bottom all throughout my whole entire wrestling career, but that was something I continued to work on, but still, you know, improved on that. My confidence had came up a little bit. You know, I won a state title, have done pretty well at some national tournaments over, I guess it'd be the following or upcoming summer and then early fall. So that helped out a lot. But still, like I said, just going into that match, just being ready to go to work and, you know, and wrestle as hard as you can. You can't overlook anybody or anything like that. Even though you may have beat that guy a few times earlier in the year, it's a new match, and you got to give them respect. You know, they're in their state finals, so you got to come to wrestle.
And that's something that the reason I asked that question is in doing this series, we, you know, do videos with multiple time state champions or even, you know, guys that are one-timers. You'll ask them, they place third, they place fourth, or maybe not even made it on the podium. They get to being a senior, a junior, whatever year it is they won it. And I'll ask them, you know, what about your wrestling game had improved? And they don't say they went to, you know, 25 different camps. They didn't go to this person's Granby camp, this person's takedown camp, whatever. It was, I knew what I was good at. I knew where I felt confident, and I started improving on 2 or 3 little things on the bottom, 2 or 3 little things on top, 2 or 3 little takedowns that I knew I was good at. And that's when you really start to see your wrestling improve you know, kids, listen to what your coach tells you, listen to what your clinicians at camp tell you. But I'm telling you, as somebody that's been around as a referee, wrestled in school, admittedly, I wasn't the best wrestler, but just hearing the stories, watching the matches is, yes, you need technique on top. You need technique on bottom. You need technique, offensive takedown, defensive, you know, being able to defend takedowns. But when you can get 2 or 3, 4 takedowns that you know nobody can stop, when you get 2 or 3 attacks on the top, whether it's just a regular half in a wrist or you throw legs in and nobody can stop it, or you know that nobody's holding you down, whether it's you're strong, you got a killer stand up into a turn, whatever it is, perfect those and then start adding stuff to it. There's no sense in having 25,000 moves in your repertoire and be terrible at all. That's because you know them don't mean they're going to be effective.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You know, you look at the best guys in the world and the best guys in the United States, you know what they're going to do, but it's really hard to stop it because they are, you know, they perfected that craft. Now, like to your point, I think it's good to know all those other moves, but maybe not necessarily know how to, you don't even have to know how to do them, but just being aware of the situation. So if someone's trying to do it to you, you know what's going to happen. You have that feel, but it's maybe not something you're necessarily have perfected, but you know how to stop it. You know it's coming. But other than that, like you said, to your point, those guys, you know, 2 or 3 attacks on your feet, if you're really good at those, and then 2 or 3 attacks on top, you know, good escape, and then really solid defense. I mean, it's going to take you a long, long ways.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And speaking of that, we're going to pull up your 2013 match video here. And again, you're wrestling Caleb Austin from Christian County. So, Trae, man, let's hit it.
All righty.
Take a breather, fellas. Take a breather. Take a breather. Get set. Get set. And I believe you got Mark Shoemate as the assistant here. Rest in peace to Mark Shoemate. He passed away on us earlier this year.
Yeah.
Now, just watching this when I was getting them ready, to me, you look to be a whole lot more explosive on your feet. Your side-to-side movement and your hand fighting look to be a whole lot better than 2012. That's just me, though.
Yeah, it's a whole nother year of getting beat up by Brock.
Oh, yeah, that's true. What am I thinking? But do you kind of agree with that you were a little bit like shiftier on your feet?
Yeah, yes, sir. A lot more fluent. You know, like I said, I felt like I was putting my attacks together a lot better. Just getting to my angles a lot better than what I had the year prior.
Yeah.
Like I said, wrestling with those guys like Brock, and then doing some collegiate type stuff.
Right now, right there, you're already going for a half. You've got a turn, no near fall there, so you get some near fall points. I guess he got a 2 count on you.
Yeah. Gotta hit that.
So you got out of bounds. Mark Shoemate
had
a cradle locked up, takes one to the face. Now, you guys start back neutral. Did you cut him right here? Do you remember that?
I can't remember.
Because the period hadn't ended yet, and I mean, you got a near fall, you ran a cradle, and you got out of bounds, but you come back neutral.
I think I did. I think I did cut him.
Okay.
I could be wrong, though.
All right, stalemate. We're going back neutral. End of the period. And he defers. You look over at the corner, and you take down.
You go back neutral? Oh, I take down. Wow.
Yep. Now, on the bottom, what had improved about your wrestling from the previous year?
Just kind of trying to close, little short sits, trying to close things off. I feel like I did a better job of getting sometimes to a tripod, that tripod stand up right there, or trying to. Like I said, I'll never claim to be the best on bottom, but trying to work on those types of things, just basic type stuff, better hand control, not giving up my wrist as much.
And you get the escape right there. He hit him for stalling, which was a good call. Because you shot right there, and he made no effort to turn in on the circle, so that was a good stall call.
Yeah. Like I said, I felt like I was from this match, the difference between this match and last year's match, I felt like I was on a lot better control of this match, versus the year prior. I was just kind of surviving.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I get it. I mean, I totally get it. Trying for a dump right there, you're able to get it.
Yeah. I think I held for some backs here too, maybe.
Yep. I don't think the Christian County coaching corner is in agreement with that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he stands up on you.
I was happy with the call.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing yet. Nothing. He's trying for a switch right there. You're able to do what you're supposed to, not letting. There it is. You step over. End of the second period, and I believe it was his choice. So he must have took neutral because he needs some points.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You hear the crowd cheering for you. Trae Blackwell.
Yep.
Blackwell.
They're always, I think Woodford's got a pretty good crowd too, as well. But like those two crowds and Campbell County as well. Those
Yeah.
crowds are always pretty. I remember those at least growing up and going through, high school.
Oh,
Always
yeah.
can hear those guys.
Absolutely.
Did a lot better this year too with my elbow ties from the
Mhm.
outside on my pulls, trying to get to those, and if not, change it off to that dump. I can tell that for sure.
And wrestling out of bounds. Come back to the center. We're neutral. Able to fight off well, so far he's been able to
Good
fight off
double
a
leg.
pretty good leg attack there.
Yeah.
He goes for that little ankle pick and gets it on you. I was like, oh.
Yeah. That was nice. It was a nice little ankle pick.
Yep. Nice little good setup. And he had to have some muscle to finish it on you because against somebody a little bit lesser, you're getting out of that. I can just tell.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a stalemate,
hand control to get away.
and he's gonna let you up.
Yeah.
Which he's trying for like a. There it is.
He tries to throw. Yeah.
Yep. Right at the end of the match, and you win that by a final score of 10-4. And here, of course, this has the medal ceremony as well. Pretty good performance.
We actually had a lot of good. Yeah, we had a lot of good kids in that bracket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keegan Duncan, a couple times state champ. Michael Whalen, a couple times state champ.
Yep. Yeah, we're supposed to be doing Keegan's review videos here pretty soon.
Heck yeah! Did he win 3 or 2?
2. I believe 2015 and 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And Waylon right there getting ready to come up. Not this gentleman, but
good times.
Yep, Coach Bedida again here. Coach Bedida. There's Michael and Henry Clay warming up right here. And Caleb getting his medal.
Speaking about looking, I was about to say, speaking about looking ahead at brackets, I thought I was going to have to wrestle him. He was actually returning state champ that year, 106 the year prior, I believe.
There you are, man.
Just a young kid.
Yep. Young stud, buddy.
Yeah.
And this also has the third place team trophy presentation on it.
I was to say, fun fact is every year I won a state title, we didn't win a state title as a team. And then every year I didn't win a state title, we won a state title as a team.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was. I was
funny.
You kind of led me into my next to the next part of the video here. So I mean, there's a lot of hammers on that. Of course, I think Jace got upset this year by Paul Longshore, or not upset, but Paul was better this day. A lot of hammers on that team. So watching this one back, does it play out the way you remember it? Besides you winning?
Yeah, no, it does. I honestly didn't remember that ankle pick that he had hit on me, so that was pretty nice. I was like, dang, that was a nice, really nice setup and ankle pick there. But yeah, about like that. Watching some of the videos, kind of when you're out there wrestling, it's a little bit of a blur. So I remember bits and pieces of it, but it's some of those shots and stuff I don't quite remember. I remember him trying to throw me at the very end and then thinking about stepping in, and I didn't know. I was like, well, you could either, try to throw him back, which I think I ended up doing. I was like that, or I could just play it safe. But I was thinking back on that. I remember coming off the mat. I was like, man, that probably wasn't very smart. Could have got thrown on my back and could have ended up bad, but it worked out good.
But when you're in the moment, man, you got to do what you think is best at the time and just hope it was the right decision, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, of course, two-time state champion, 2012, 2013, and we would be remiss if we didn't say you were in the finals as a senior in 2014 at 126 pounds as a senior. The video is on the channel with David Carr, Woodford County. And so we got David's perspective, the referee that was the official, Joe Catan, his official's perspective videos on the channel. So this is going to be the first time we have all three major participants, both wrestlers and the official giving their perspective. So like I said, you run into David Carr. He beat you by a 7-4 decision. At the time, I know it probably wasn't the most enjoyable experience getting beat, in the state finals as a senior going out like that. But, looking at the career David's had, NCAA national champion at Iowa State in the finals in 2023, probably going to be in the finals again if he doesn't win it again this year. So kind of just give us your thoughts on that match. I know, like I said, two of the best Kentucky wrestlers that's ever stepped on a mat competing for one state championship. Unfortunately, somebody had to come off on the short end. But just kind of give us your memories, your thoughts of that match.
Man, so obviously we knew David was good. Obviously comes from a really lifelong, like you said, legacy. You're talking about earlier, legacy family. I would consider, kind of like the Urbans. So you knew he was going to be good coming in. Honestly, I went out there a little bit overconfident. I tried to throw in that deal. I watched that match, or the video review with David. They said they were watching that coming, which I knew I probably shouldn't have done that, because literally when I was in that situation, it was kind of like a little dump. I had hit some other kids at the Welsh Ironman, the kid who was ranked like third in the country at the time, and pinned him with that. And I pinned some other really good kids with that. But obviously been scouted a little bit. He just wrestled a good match. But before I did that, I remember it was Joe Carr Jr. Was over there. He's like, here was it maybe. I think that was who was in his corner.
Yeah, he had Joe Senior and Joe Jr. in his corner.
Okay, one of those guys is yelling, "Here it comes! Here it comes!" I was like, "Well, I'm gonna do it anyways." Probably one of those things, like you said, we talked about this past match. I was like, probably shouldn't have tried to throw him, but got caught on my back there. Wrestled a good match. David even said too. You guys are talking about, you're like, why did he choose neutral? And man, I'll tell you that he definitely was squeezing real hard when he had me on my back. I remember getting up, seeing stars. And they were just like, "What do you want?" I remember, Joe Catan was talking. He's like, asked me what I wanted to do, and I was just kind of in a daze. I was like, I don't know. Let's just go neutral, whatever.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to ask you about that, because David holds you there in that like modified head and arm for, I don't know, 25, 30 seconds. You can tell, man, he is squeezing for everything, and he's 126 pounds is right there on that grip. And that's a jiu-jitsu style choke. I mean, you can really put, that cuts off the carotid arteries. Yeah. Man. You can really put somebody out. So I can see you getting up, seeing stars, like, what, where am I at? What happened?
Well, to be honest with you, when I got put on my back, everyone went nuts. And I was kind of like, well, if I'm going to get pinned in the state finals, I don't want to be awake for it. So this dude's going to have to choke me out. I'm either going to fight it until I go out, and that'll be it. And then that's what it is. And if not, well, it'll go on. And so I was able to, not get pinned. I don't know how, but luckily not able to, and continue to wrestle that match. But, like you said, at the grand scheme of things, just a state finals match. Definitely wrestled. I feel like I didn't wrestle as well as I should have, but David wrestled a really good match, and stuck to their game plan, going into that match. Man, like I said, it stung at the time, but looking back on it, it wouldn't have made any difference in my life. I was just, like one of those things, just obviously just grateful to be there and the opportunity.
Yeah.
Heck, just to say I got to wrestle, David Carr, see him, go on and do good things in college. And even if he didn't, it is what it is. And, but no, it was a good match. It was fun. I was glad to be able to get there. Sometimes there for a while, I wish I had that one back, but you just take your losses and move on from it.
And it's
but yeah, no, he was definitely, he came to wrestle and he got whipped. That's all I can say about it.
I mean, and like I said, it was just a great match. And there's the old saying we've said in other videos, especially in a combative sport, when you're first starting off, or even if it's the world championship boxing, world MMA, world championships, wrestling, whatever, Olympic, whatever, you either win or you learn. And that was, unfortunately, had to be a learning experience, learning match.
St. X, as I said, the defending champion, runner-up a year ago, Campbell County, third place, Union County, and those three are right back at the top again this year.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll see a later match. You touched on it. History at 126 pounds. Trae Blackwell, I'm sure disappointed at not becoming a three-time state champion, a runner-up here in his senior year. Great high school career comes to an end.
Like we said in your first video, and in this one as well, you went on to Oklahoma University, and you were on the Oklahoma University wrestling team for 3 seasons. 2014, 2015, you're a freshman, 141 pounds. You come in third at the Big 12 tournament. So, man, as a freshman, you're making waves, man. That's doing something, especially the Big 12. There's some great teams in the Big 12.
Yeah. So I did good there. Man, the thing kind of sucked about that is that that year they didn't I think there's only 5 teams that year in the Big 12, and they didn't have the NCAA didn't give us automatic bids that year. So it was like kind of had to have a wild card. So in a wild kind of deal, like our 157 pounder that year won the Big 12 tournament. Actually, it beat a kid who ended up All-Americaning, and they didn't take him to the NCAA tournament because he was like 500 record. I think I was like 15 and 17 that year. Not great, just trying to getting your feet essentially wet in that collegiate aspect, which is, at least for me, I know nowadays, seems like high schoolers nowadays are way above what we were going into it, or the top tier guys. But, getting my feet wet and just kind of trying to figure out what I needed to change. A lot of that aspect, as we had talked about before, was the bottom game was way different, and the riding time. And guys are just tougher. Every match I felt like was like a state finals match wrestling those guys. But I ended up, I finished up well. I beat a guy for third and fourth that I think he was ranked like top 15. He had actually beat me in the duel the year, or not the year before, but earlier in the season.
I got you.
Got to avenge that loss. Didn't make the tournament, but it still was that was a good year. So,
the 2015, 2016 year, sophomore, 141 pounds. You come in fourth at the Big 12. So, I mean, you're 2 years in and you've placed at the Big 12 tournament both years. So, man, that's a heck of a career so far.
Yeah, that tournament, that was a tough tournament. Nathan Boston was at my weight. I got fourth in behind Dean Heil, Bryce Meredith, and Seth Gross.
Oh well, that's a pretty good lineup there in front of you. Pretty good.
Yeah. So and they took top 3 that year to the NCAAs from Big 12. So I was like, man, looking back on it, I was like, man, I just had to beat, either an NCAA finalist or NCAA champ, and I could have went to the tournament,
Yeah, for real. For
But
real, man. I get
yeah,
it.
exactly.
And 2016, 2017, you're a junior. Um, I think you were telling me off camera you had some injuries and had to maybe not get the full season in, but man,
Yep.
3 years at Oklahoma University, the wrestling Division I. Heck of a wrestling career from top to bottom. 2 team state championships at Union County, 2 individual state championships. And before I go on to something else real quick. That 2014 year, the state finals, that's the best year. That's the best collection of talent that Kentucky's ever seen, top to bottom. People like you, Brock, Bryce Schaefer, Austin Myers, Nathan Boston, Casey Cornett. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on
David
with the
Carr,
names.
Sean Fowles, and
Sean Fowles. We've done Sean's videos on the channel. 4-time NCAA Division I qualifier at NC State. I mean, just top to bottom, just every single match was just David Carr. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? And like I said, it's the best. Not just what I've said, but other people, have echoed the because I posted the face-off, and I think it was Nathan Boston. Speaking of Nathan, he's the one that posted it. And I was looking at the post and I was like, oh my God, he's right. Look at the names. Look at what they done in high school.
Yeah.
Look at what they done off-season national tournaments. Look at what they done in college. I mean, just phenomenal. Just top to bottom, phenomenal.
Yeah. It was cool just to be mentioned in that group of people.
So, oh yeah, man, absolutely. So,
yes.
Trae, man, I think we've reached a pretty good spot to wrap this one up. So before we do close it out, do you have anything you'd like to say or add about this year, or just wrestling or life? I like to give guys enough time to say thank you to people, or man, I wish I could have this one back, or I'm training up for the 20th year anniversary duel we're going to have against this team, because you'd be surprised the number of guys that would, if we could ever get it lined up to have like a over 40 crowd or over 40 team lined up, they'd be dudes wanting to be a part of it, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you'd have to do like 1 minute goes or 30-second goes, 30-second periods or something like that.
30-second period is all we can with EMTs on standby.
Yeah, exactly. No, man, I was blessed to have a really good wrestling career. I still give back to some of the community down here, help out some high school kids. It's fun. The sport gave me a lot as well. A lot of life experiences, got to travel the country, got to get my education paid for, most importantly. And just, obviously, Union County wrestling program, University Heights, I don't even know if they have a wrestling program anymore, but all those guys down there, and everyone in Kentucky, I just really appreciate, all the things that anybody ever did for me throughout my life, and my wrestling career meant a lot, and made me who I am today. And then lastly, I just really appreciate being able to be on your page, on your channel. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think it's cool what you're doing, the collection of stuff like that. And then, we'll be able to have that forever. So look back on it and watch all the old timers. And one day I'll be an old timer, and, hopefully some of the high school kids can look at that. I know coming up through high school, man, the Irvins are good about that, telling about past stories and stuff like that, and get some sort of inspiration from that, trying to be like you said, the George Kings, the Robert Irvins, the Daniel Vowles, the Tim Irvins, or whoever you look up to. You can go to your page and watch their own personal story. It's pretty awesome. So, like I said, I just really appreciate the time.
Speaking of which, we have Rob Irvin's 81 and 82 state finals match videos. It's just getting him pinned down, if you will, no pun intended, to do the review videos. We've talked to him a few times, and I know the world wants to see it. I know it. I know the whole state wants to wants to watch him. The whole country, people just moved away from Kentucky that wrestled at Union or even know who Rob is. And so as soon as we get a date lined out, we're going to get with him and do his videos. And we've talked to Brock, we've talked to Mitch, we've talked to Max, we've talked to just about all the Irvin crew, and they're wanting to do their videos in person. I know a lot of you've reached out. I know the Union County crowd's reached out. What about this? Well, they want to do theirs in person. And if they want to do theirs in person, we're going to honor that the best that we can and, save it for in-person videos. So that's where Brock's videos are. I have all 5. We have just about every single Irvin that come through the last 20 years. We have their videos. So we're going to, like I said, meet with them in person, and then we're going to just have a big Irvin filming session.
Couple of weeks long worth of video.
I was going to say, it's probably going to take us about a month to get through everybody, but we're going to do it in person, and that way the world can see what Union County brings to the table. And we've talked to the Rainey family. Of course, we know that they have a chance to make history with what Jordan and Jaden's been able to do, and they want to wait until they're out of school or so. That's what their dad told me anyway. They want to wait till they graduated. So we're going to honor that as well. Just phenomenal wrestling in Union County. No other way to say it. And it's guys like yourself that the youngsters on the team now be like, man, I remember watching Trae Blackwell wrestle. I remember, watching Brock wrestle. I remember watching Bryce wrestle. I remember watching, but I mean, it's what you were able to do for the Union County program, and then taking that to a Division I level is what makes this series, what makes the Kentucky wrestling have the foundation. And now we're able to have, tell the story to the whole world of just because you're from Sturgis, Kentucky, doesn't mean you can't wrestle Division I. I mean, look at the people that's come out of Union County. Look at the people that's come out of, whatever county. You can do it from there. There's no reason why you can't. And I think that's a great place to end the video. So Trae, man, again, I'll give you a double salute for 2 state championships. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Sir, thank you.
Guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the mats.